All right, we are live once again, showing off the Knicks early and often. Back here after a very important round two, we get to the conference semifinals. Michael, any big takeaways from this round of basketball besides the specifics? Like anything you're seeing, gameplay wise, refs? I know you don't like the refs.
No, refs are fine. I respect that they don't call any fouls ever, but then sometimes they call stupid fouls. What are you gonna do? Thoughts on the Western Conference? I think we all knew after Steph got hurt in game 2 or game 1 that that series was a wrap. The Nuggets Thunder series was probably the best series of the semifinals, and it game 7 was just done before halftime, which was unfortunate. And then in the East, also kind of crazy that the Cavs went. So yeah, they're a bunch of softies, I guess, still. And Knicks. Yeah.
Basically. All right. Before we dive into each series specifics,
I can't give any thoughts.
No. All right. Say we have to. I mean, we're gonna go into each series in detail. Mikey was already like spoiling the fucking.
My main thought is that I think the regular season clearly does not mean very much.
No,
that's true. It's a completely different sport.
But it's been really evident this. Yeah. Whatever. You know what? Whatever.
No,
it's almost like someone on this podcast says to not even bother watching the regular season.
Some of us just like hoops. Like, damn.
Yeah. So do I. I love hoops. I'm the biggest ball watcher on this chat. You guys weren't watching Cal versus Stanford on a Friday night, all right?
You were probably the only one watching, brother.
Yeah, I'm a true fan. All right, before we dive into the playoffs, there hasn't been much news. I was doing some research. Really, the only thing is Giannis. He did a Twitter Q&A, but he said, for the first time ever, he'll be open to being moved. So, Ali, we'll go to you. Since you wanted the question, what do you think is the answer for Giannis? You think he stays? You think he gets traded? And if so, where?
I think he leaves, and I honestly think there's some type of – I could see him with a sign and trade to Golden State, which I think is a bit crazy.
No.
But I think he would want to stay in the East. I know we have talked about the Bill Simmons podcast. Did anyone – I think it was the Bill Simmons podcast. I think it came out yesterday, had said, what about Giannis, Evan Mobley, straight swap? Say the money doesn't matter. I know something like that would be weird, but overall, this is my main one. Is I think he goes to Brooklyn. I think it's a big market. Wants New York. They kind of have a few pieces, maybe.
Thomas.
Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Claxton. Those are the right pieces around a player like Giannis. You got the shooting. You got the number 8 overall pick or whatever it is too. Who knows? You could draft a good guard.
The problem with the draft is people are expecting it's not even the NFL where the players come in and are it takes a couple of years.
I'm buying stock in Trey Johnson out of Texas. I think that guy. I think he's gonna go to Utah, and that guy's gonna be the best player in this draft. Sorry, Cooper.
No, Cooper flags undeniable.
Oh, what about Kevin Durant for offseason news? He's probably going somewhere too.
Is he though? I mean,
I think he is. No, I think he's probably going to Houston.
I don't know.
Houston's the spot everyone's talking about.
I don't like that fit.
I think that's the right fit.
I think Giannis should go to Houston, and then KD goes.
I disagree. That's
Orlando.
The one thing that they don't have is shooting. They need outside shooting, mid range, anything. I think KD's away, but I mean Devin Booker's the home run hit. Fit wise, but they're not going to trade him. Phoenix, I mean.
Devin Booker's not going anywhere.
No. I think a trade for KD is what? Reed Shepard, the 10th pick, Jabari, Whitmore, all those young guys that just
that seems like a
can't
lot.
Crack the rotation.
Yeah.
For Kevin fucking Durant?
He's 30. What? He's 37 or something.
38.
He's the most pure hooper in the league that we have.
Michael Beasley.
He retired, I think.
He actually plays in the big 3, and he might request a trade. But
I actually saw that on Twitter today.
What's the speculation, Mikey? Where's he going?
I don't know.
Couldn't even name one team.
No, couldn't even name one team. Ice Cube's team.
Is there a possibility that trades could happen right now, or do we have to wait?
Now we have to wait till like July.
It's not what we're talking about that
Yeah.
much. I think KD gets traded, but it's for a lot less than people would expect. And I think Giannis stays one more year and then gets traded next offseason.
I think the Celtics situation makes it very much more likely that he'll stay. In
Giannis?
Milwaukee. Yeah. Because, like, their team
Yeah.
right now, it obviously sucks, but they could crack the top. They could be, like, the 5 seed, maybe.
The
if
Bucks?
Giannis goes, like, yeah.
I mean,
Like,
they were the
in the
5 seed
East?
this year.
Yeah, they were the 5
I
seed
know,
this year.
and
I'm thinking
exactly,
probably
but without Dame,
Yeah.
Well, okay,
without
you think
Dame
what?
and
Cavs,
everything
Knicks,
like that.
Pacers, 1, 2, and 3 interchangeable. Then you probably next year is Celtics, Knicks, Pistons, or
Well, you don't
Celtics,
know who,
Bucks,
like, the
Pistons.
Magic could add a player.
Yeah, true.
It's I
True.
think it's Magic, Detroit, Celtics, depending on their moves, and
And
It's
then
too
Bucks,
early
maybe.
to say.
yeah.
Yeah,
But,
that's
I mean,
like,
fair.
who
I think
knows? Who
I think the
knows?
Knicks core will all still be together, so that's like when you can confidently
Unless
say.
they
I
go
know.
for Giannis.
Everyone wants Cat for Giannis, and I'm out on that.
I think that's the right move. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
Why
Cat's
would you want to
back.
do Cat for Giannis just because
Cat's defense is. Hallie's about to. Okay, we don't even have to talk about it.
We're
Yeah,
going to talk about it, but
Tatum tried to expose him, and it was just like, I'm checking.
all right. Anyways, any other offseason and eliminated teams that we haven't yet, or that we've already talked about, or teams that were already eliminated? That anything else that we need to address before we get into the
Sneaky pick. I think the Raptors at 9, whatever their pick is.
the lottery?
That's like a team that I feel like is like a few pieces away from like finally making some noise, kind of like the Pistons were. Like they just need maybe one like vet signing like Tobias Harris to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit.
Yeah, the Raptors have like a lot of weird contract
I know.
stuff.
A lot
Like,
of weird
They're
contracts.
paying RJ and IQ bags. They have BI for no reason at all.
Scotty
Yeah, he
Barnes
didn't
too.
fucking play.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they like try and because they have like is it Mugbo or whatever that guy's name is?
Mogbo, yeah.
Yeah. I mean they have some good pieces, but it would be interesting to see if they consolidate. And I don't think they make a big swing. I feel like they still are Scotty
I
Barnes.
mean, I feel like they're gonna say
away
Ingram's our big swing, and then just because he didn't even play at all this year.
I mean, yeah.
I had
I
him
don't
in
know.
fantasy. I was
I think
waiting.
it's gonna be interesting to see what Denver does this offseason because I mean I don't foresee Jokic leaving ever, but
We'll get to
if
Denver.
they just like drop guys on guys and like they just don't never bring anyone in and always lose people, like that's a tough way to go.
Yeah. Last question before we actually get into the real meat of it all. Michael, your theory on, I think the first one we did, you said the NBA, they forced the trade from Luka to the Lakers for the stadium money and all that. Do you think the lottery being rigged?
Trying to go to LA or
do you think
Vegas still?
Do you think that's part of it? Do you think that's part of the scheme, or are you in or out on NBA lottery rigged?
I'm out on NBA lottery rigged because of I forget who I was watching that was in the room when it happened.
Is it Zach
It might have been
Lowe?
Zach Lowe. Yeah, it was definitely Zach Lowe.
Yeah. I've been hooping lately.
I don't know. It would be a very hard thing to rig, and like obviously the chips fell into place for the Mavs, and good for them, I guess. But that day, draft lottery, Tatum injury was like a massive day for the NBA, just in general. Like
Yeah,
if that day went any different, like
NBA history's changed forever.
Yeah, forever.
Honestly, it will be because Cooper Flag will be the next Paolo Banchero. All right, starting with the playoffs, we had last time we left off, we were after game 2 for the Cavs Pacers series. Some of us predicted the Cavs comeback. Unfortunately, it does not happen. Ow.
Do we get a
Yes.
bracket?
We need a point breakdown later.
We have a point breakdown. There's actually a very interesting. We'll get into it later. So,
do we put money on that?
I think we agreed to put $5 in it, maybe.
Let's double
I
it.
owe you
Go to
both
10.
$5.
Let's.
But I said if the Knicks win, I will give you both $5.
Yeah,
so.
you did say that actually. All right. So Pacers beat the Cavs in 5 games. I think I only really watched game 1 of this because it was kind of some blowouts in there, but there were some close games. So Ali, we'll start with you, Ohio native. What was your takeaway from this series, Pacers Cavs?
I'm a Rhode Island native, but yeah. So I honestly thought this was a pretty good series, but is that my audio doing that?
That was me.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, I can hear it from his then. Okay,
All right.
selfie.
Go ahead.
I had watched game 3 with a bunch of Cavs fans that was the game that they blew them out and had a good game. But I thought it was very interesting that neither team really did great on their own home court. The Pacers, I know they won game 4, but that was, maybe it was game 5 when they came back from no, I'm pretty sure it was game 4 that they came back from down 15, 20 maybe. I don't know. Game 5 was just such low effort by the Cavs. I genuinely feel bad for the people that bought those tickets thinking that you were about to get a 3-1 comeback. My fellow Ohioans that then got just a shitty effort all around from the whole team. It just sucks when that's the product that happens. Injuries, whatever. Why are you shaking your head? It just sucks when teams give low effort like that in such a big moment. They had momentum, I feel like. I don't know. I picked the Pacers, so I'm not necessarily surprised. I feel like a real ball knower knows that they were a team to be reckoned with, but going out in 5 and 3 out of 5 games are blowouts, not in your favor, are definitely interesting.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be a closer series than it was.
Same.
I had
6 or 7, I thought.
I had the Cavs in 7. I respect the Pacers though. I think the Pacers are the deepest team left, where they run a 10-man rotation.
Think 11.
11. Yeah, I mean Halliburton, Michael, you're talking. We can't hear you.
I was saying that it's nine-man rotation, and Jarris Walker's their 10th guy who plays.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Didn't Carlisle put in 10 people in the first quarter though? Didn't he have a weird, or was that Kerr maybe? I think it was both of them.
I don't know. Probably both.
And either way, I think the Pacers are the deepest team left, but they don't Halliburton's probably the weakest of all the superstars left. That being said, though, I do like this Pacers team. They're my number 2 team I'm rooting for left. I think we go from New York versus Boston to this kind of built-up rivalry. Obviously, the Pacers took out the Knicks last year. We'll get into that series when we get to the next round. But I'm excited to watch this Pacers team play Indiana basketball. Yeah, for the Cavs, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I saw today either the coach or the GM was like, "We beat expectations, so we're not going to be able, you shouldn't expect more." I thought that was kind of a lame quote coming from him.
Agree.
Donovan Mitchell's got to be a little bit upset. I mean, the injury stuff, it happens, and they're slowly progressing where they lost the Knicks the first round 2 years ago, lost the Celtics second round, lost the Pacers second round. So I don't know what the answer is for the Cavs.
I mean, they technically didn't progress though because they lost both in 5. Even if they took it to 6, it's clearly a better matchup for them.
They won a lot more regular season games.
Yeah, but that clearly, I mean, what did it mean for them? They just got bounced in 5 fucking games like losers.
I guess.
I don't know. I just feel like it was really lame.
Michael, your takeaway from this series?
I think that they're gonna have to get rid of one of their 2 big men, probably Jared Allen.
Oh, I was gonna say one of their 2 guards.
Well, Jared Allen's a big time. He's a big time regular season basketball player and has never performed in the
big
postseason.
Fantasy guy.
Yeah,
Jared Allen.
And I feel like they'll keep both of their guards just because it's kind of like the Denver in 2021, 22, when they had a 25 game sample of their whole team healthy and they were disgusting, and then they were hurt for 2 years straight and they kept it together and then they finally won. I feel like if they have a fully healthy team at some point with Donovan and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley is a dog. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that will work. They just need to not be soft, and they're definitely not.
I think
Not.
the coaching change was a hit for sure. Kenny Atkinson, I think, was great.
Yeah. Again, a good regular season
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It just was such
It's
a
like it's crazy. I think that series itself shows what you were saying earlier, that NBA regular season basketball is completely different than postseason basketball.
Yeah,
Mhm.
how many times we have these fucking one seeds come in that everyone knows is like, I mean, I guess people kind of believe in the Cavs. I had the Cavs winning this series, but it's like, no one thought the Cavs were actually going to go to the finals. You know,
no one thought
Yeah, I
either the
thought they
Knicks or
would lose them to
Pacers
the
would though
Celtics.
either.
I guess. I mean, but I mean, you have the Hawks team that always finishes the one seed like a couple years ago. They didn't do shit. I don't know. I just feel like it was pretty obvious looking back on. I don't know how I missed this, that the Cavs would just lose. And regular season basketball doesn't matter.
Guess who didn't miss it?
I think for the Cavs, they got to improve somehow on the second or third option. I could see them just being like, oh, we didn't have Garland or Mobley healthy for all the games, so we're just going to run it right back. I mean, that's fair enough, but they're just going to have the same result, I think. I don't know what you do or how you do it, but I feel like they have to get somehow a better second or third option. Or
I think they gotta get a big guard that can come off the bench and just score. Like Peyton Pritchard, I feel like is that stereotype, but he's too small, like Ty Jerome was, and that was a big problem with them. Was Ty Jerome was literally played off the court this series
Yeah.
specifically, and that's like their biggest bench production guy. So I think if you can get like a big guard, like I don't know, maybe where they are in the draft, like someone that's like 6'4" or above that can defend, because having Garland in and then having Ty Jerome, two undersized guards, you're just getting hunted
They
constantly.
need Ryan Dunn. They need Ryan Dunn
Yeah,
from last year.
There's that Virginia, right?
Yeah.
he was drafted last year.
Yeah, he was
He's on the
drafted
Suns,
last year
yeah.
to the
I'm sure
Suns,
you can
yeah.
find you can find somebody later in the draft. I mean, the draft's exciting
Yeah.
because I actually watch college basketball, so I know all the guys. Anything else?
DeAndre Hunter is like perfect off the bench. I just think they need some guy that can.
They need a better
Also,
starter than him that can score.
he's
Somehow.
their sixth man, yo.
Who starts at? Who is it? Isaac Okaro?
No, it's Max fucking Strus.
Yeah, that's.
Well, just start Hunter too, but I think they also need to transition from Donovan Mitchell number one option to Evan Mobley. I think he's clearly just the better player.
Disagree.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a
Spider.
very hot take.
That he's the better player overall?
Overall, yeah, but scoring wise,
Donovan,
Mitchell's like
scoring number one scoring option. I would take Donovan Mitchell over Mobley 10
Okay.
days out of 10. For the Pacers, definitely an interesting series for them. That they had another down 7 with less than a minute to go in game 2, I think it was, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite player on their team is Andrew Nemhard, just because he's
That's a demon. He's such a demon.
yeah. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do against the Knicks. We'll talk about it later. But
we will.
yeah. Any team that wins the finals will have a former Knick on it from the last like 4 years.
Interesting.
Obi,
Nice
Who's on the
factoid.
Timberwolves? Oh. Yeah, never mind.
Julius, and Dante.
Who's on the
And then
Thunder?
iHeart,
Oh.
heart and soul of the team. Come on,
Yeah, you're right.
Who's on the Pacers?
Toppin.
Obi.
Ain't no stopping. All right, the
True.
moment everyone's been waiting for. The 3-seeded Knicks have dethroned the Boston Celtics in 6 games. Jason Tatum, torn Achilles. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns looked unstoppable, especially when the Celtics went up 20. That happened 2 or 3 times throughout the series. Where do we want to start here? Do we want to give the Knicks their flowers? Do we want to go right to anti-Celtics? I feel like we should start by saying the positives about the Knicks. Looked like Thibodeau was kind of outclassing Missoula a little bit. I don't know much about the ins and outs of NBA coaches. I've said before on this very podcast, I don't think NBA coaches do too much. But I feel like Thibodeau was like scheming up stuff, and that they held the Celtics to like minimal points. I mean, a lot of those unders hit in the games. Celtics couldn't buy 3 in like most of the games they lost. Jalen Brunson, unstoppable in like the first half of the series for sure. He was a little quieter later on from my memory. Could be wrong on that. Who else? Towns was really good scoring. Mitchell Robinson Mitchell, every time Mitchell Robinson was on the floor and not shooting free throws, besides game 5 when he went 8 for 8.
He was 6 for 6 or 8 for 8 or something.
Yeah, I thought he was 6 for 6. Then they were like 8 for 8. I mean, I've said it before. I like this Knicks team. I have a lot of respect for them. Unfortunately, I can't root for them just because of the fan base. And I'll say again that's excluding you, Michael. But I have a tough scenario where like you have these New York fans who have been dying and dying for a championship. They haven't experienced one in over 15 years it's almost been 15 years with the Giants. Besides MLS or whatever, some bullshit they always say. But nonetheless,
the New York Liberty one.
Okay.
Lock in. Come on.
What year was that?
Last year.
2
years.
You didn't even know that.
I don't watch professional basketball that much, clearly. Anyways, give the Knicks their flowers. Am I missing anybody, Michael? Josh Hart, obviously love Josh Hart.
Deuce McBride off the bench.
Deuce McBride, big game 6 out of him.
Campaign.
No. Who came in that game 6? Freaking Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, Rhode Island legend.
Yep.
Macomb Daddy.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timmy was at the game.
Tracy Morgan. Who else?
Ben Stiller.
Ugh. Bro could be working on fucking Severance season 3, but he's rotting away on the bench.
He's been on the roommates pod twice talking about Severance.
Yeah, he's fucking wasting his time. Script now. Anyways, I mean, really, like the Knicks were just a lot tougher than the Celtics. I mean, I don't want to like call people soft and whatever. I'm not going to do that. I don't think the Celtics are necessarily soft. I just think the game style that the Knicks brought to the Celtics, like that's just a way more respectable version of basketball where you're like roughhousing, playing really good defense. I don't know. I'll stop talking.
I'll say that they're soft. Kristaps fucking Porzingis. Enjoy Charlotte. I hope they send you to Charlotte for nothing.
Reunited.
Enjoy Utah.
It's gonna come
Send
out
him to
that he
Utah.
has like AIDS or something.
He does. We all know it.
That'd be. I feel like he has like Lyme disease. Like I feel like AIDS is like an extra.
They would have tested for that though.
They wouldn't test for AIDS or HIV.
No.
Didn't somebody just get? There's a UFC fighter who just got pulled out of his fight because of herpes. They test for that stuff. I don't think it's AIDS or HIV, especially after the rumor mill. Like someone would have heard that. I don't know there's rumors, but that's more just speculation. We'll go to Michael real quick.
Honestly.
So what did I miss here? Sing the Knicks praises. You can, do a little bit of banter if you want. I feel like, I was mostly respectful.
I don't participate in banter.
I was mostly respectful throughout. I do troll in that group chat, and I apologize for that, but that's mostly just to rile people up. I don't really care that much. But some other people on this podcast maybe said some harsh words. So have your moment if you wish.
On the coaching front, I think that Tibbs did run circles around Missoula. He's like been portrayed as the most anti-switching his mindset on anything coach. He's going to do the same thing every game, no matter what. He's not going to adjust. And first game, they switch everything. They've never been a switch team. He's never been a switch coach. They've never switched with this specific team. And it was like the one adjustment that everyone was talking about before the series that they thought that the Knicks needed to do, and I gave it like a 5% chance that they'd actually do it. And they did it, and it worked, and it got the Celtics into iso ball and just hunting mismatches that were mismatches, but they were also getting away from what they do great, which is getting in and spraying and swing, wide open corner 3. And Celtics played right into that hand for the first 2 games. First 2 games, fourth quarters, basically, was what it came down to. And then game 3, you kind of figured that the Celtics would come out and just lay one on them at one point during the series.
I may have to call cap on that. A lot of Knicks fans are like, this is going to be the one, like, biggest game of the year. I wouldn't say
Yeah,
like.
game 3, I thought that the Knicks were gonna lose.
I mean, you might have thought that. I feel like a lot of people were kind of going
Well,
anti-Celtics in
at
that
one
moment.
point when the Celtics were shooting 25% from 3, it was like they're eventually gonna figure out how to shoot the ball. And then game 4 happened, which was a Knicks win before Tatum's injury. No rewriting history here.
I mostly agree. I mean, there was what, like 3 minutes, 4 minutes left. They were up 8.
It was like 2:45 and they were up 9, I think.
It was actually 3:08 because Kobe also tore his ACL at 3:08 minutes left in the
Alright.
fourth quarter.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Hey, Pacers did it. Celtics
It's
could have done
true. It's true.
Okay.
Anyway,
It is. I'm being
continue.
serious.
Continue. You'll have your turn. Continue, Michael.
And that game gave Knicks fans a lot of confidence in the team moving forward and just in general. I think the first 2 games of the series were kind of like, what just happened? Like, is this really something that they can hold on to and actually go down 20 plus in every game and come back and win? And obviously that was never going to be something that they could hold on to and keep doing throughout the playoffs. But when they came out in game 4 and actually played good basketball, other than the first like 5 minutes of the game, they gave up wide open 3 after wide open 3, and then they figured it out. And then obviously Tatum went down in game 5. I was probably more confident than in hindsight I should have been. I feel like we kind of should have seen coming a effort like that from Jaylen Brown and the rest of the Celtics.
Derek White.
That was his only good game of the series.
He also
then,
had like 30 in game 4. Thank you, though.
And then
He hit like 5 threes in a row in game 4.
And then game 6, Celtics lost by their most points of the season after blowing out the Knicks in game 1 of the season, making that loss their biggest loss of the season, fitting end to a season for the Celtics where they started out by blowing out the Knicks by 1 million. Yeah, I feel like you kind of hit on all the players. Mitchell Robinson was a plus 1 million in the series and absolutely bodied anyone that came into the paint. And the hack a Mitch in game 2 or 1 when they fouled him three or 4 straight times to get the Knicks into the bonus was a crazy thing that happened. What else? Yeah, I mean, Celtics offseason is going to be interesting. We don't have to talk about that unless we want
we
to.
will. We will.
Yeah, Knicks Pacers is going to be lit.
I agree.
It's
I'm
going to be
actually
a great series.
I think I'm excited for both series, to be honest.
I'm excited for both. Yeah, I think both could be really good.
Anything nice you want to say about the Knicks before we get into the Celtics, Ali?
It was a good series.
All right, good sportsman.
I'll say one thing also. Cat has been fine in these playoffs. I'd say he kind of figured out.
The fouling is just bad.
Some of them
I agree.
are some BS fouls.
They're so.
There was a couple on Jaylen Brown where it was just some BS.
I hate
SGA
Cat pulling
foul
up.
drawing.
I hate Cat pulling up from like the logo from 3. Also, that's
that was.
He hit him in game 6, yo.
I mean, yeah,
but he kind of figured out Al and Cornette.
Yeah, Al was really bad
6.
this series.
Al had a tough series. I mean, he's 38 and having to guard one of the best scoring big men in the league.
Cornette game was huge.
But I think Cat's series, this coming series against the Pacers it has a chance to be his best series because of how the Pacers have played him this year. Like, they put Miles Turner on him, and whenever he has an actual center on him, he's wonderful and amazing.
All right. Let's segue that into our next Pacers preview. One quick question, and then we'll move on to the Celtics. Is Jalen Brunson a top 5 Knick of all time? Right now?
Yeah, he's 4.
Who's your 3? Is Melo in the top 3?
No,
How dare you?
it's championships. It's
Okay.
Willis Reed and Clyde, and then probably Patrick Ewing, and then Jalen Brunson.
Where does Jeremy Lin fall on the list?
Pretty high.
His run was crazy. All right. Celtics. So Ali, you already had some harsh words for Kristaps Porzingis. I
I
don't
could
know.
say some more.
Go ahead. I mean,
Nope.
like,
I'm gonna, I'm going to law school. I'm gonna be a professional here.
so where do you want to start with the Celtics then? Anything, or it's going to be all peaches and roses, or
Jaylen Brown, the city loves you. I swear, we love you. We're ready for Jaylen Brown, #1 option hoops next year. Will I want to kill myself sometimes? Maybe.
he
Once a month.
should not be handling the ball. I don't know. Like he was bringing up the ball, and I think it was game 6.
I know, but then game 5 he could be your fucking. He's like got Trae Young handles. Like, I don't know. I think he needs to work on being a better like play developer, as in like passer and dribbler. Like his like development, I think at that kind of more of a guard next season could be good, because I feel like he's just been used as a forward, like an off ball kind of guy, whereas he could be
Play
more on ball
finisher.
next year. Yeah.
He needs to be a play
But
initiator.
that's my big thing is game 5 was honestly like, Mikey, like let us just have that one. Like that really made me feel good.
I gave it to you. It was
There we go. Game
called
6,
it.
good for you guys too. I'm glad we both got to end it. Our last W's for now of the season were really
the
good.
Luke Cornette game. What else?
Luke Cornette game. I think
Luke Cornette game was solely because Josh Hart was standing on the wing and with nobody within
Also,
50 million
freaking
yards of him.
why is Jalen? I'm so confused why Jalen Brown was guarding Karl-Anthony Towns, and then you have Porzingis guarding like Hart. I don't understand that.
So
I thought
it's
so
to
Porzingis
cross match for
It's Porzingis can just
he can
play
stay by
in
the
paint
hoop.
and just deter.
Yeah,
That's what
then they
they've
shoot the ball to
been
Cat,
doing
he
that
posts up.
against the Knicks forever. But yeah,
I think this offseason, I'm not done. I think they hold on to Drew and trade him later in the season when his value's back up after having a better start to the season, because he was god awful these playoffs. I think KP, he can get the fuck out. Him and Hauser are probably gone this offseason.
The problem
then-
with trading Porzingis, everyone wants to do it because he sucks. He just had a terrible playoffs, and he's owed $30 million. And granted, he's on a 1-year contract, but he's not like you're gonna have to attach.
Danny
something.
Ainge is going to take him for
You're gonna have to attach something with him to make him go.
That second round pick is from the Wizards. It's pick number like 32 or something.
it's a good pick.
It's got value.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
we hold on to that? We're gonna
No, they
lose that
draft at
team.
28.
Next year's in the can anyway. We don't have Tatum. Might as well just let Porzingis play it out, or trade him at the deadline or something.
No, they need to get rid of money.
They need to get rid of money before next
think
season.
I think they're gonna trade for like Fred VanVleet.
I saw that.
They
No,
can
no,
cut it.
Bill
No,
Smith
it's
nonsense.
he won't.
Jaylen Brown
He's
for
not gonna
Fred.
play for them. He's gonna get cut.
Wait, Jaylen Brown is not leaving, yo.
Bill
Not
Simmons, I
Jaylen
just
Brown.
saw this before we got on.
That was this- no.
offering
I wasn't
Jaylen
Yeah,
Brown.
don't even give that attention.
Okay.
Like, he was fucking clowning when he said that. Mikey, like Jaylen Brown's staying.
No, I'm not
the GM
saying
said
trading
it
Jaylen
earlier.
Brown. I'm saying you trade for a
Porzingis?
guy. You
Oh.
trade for a guy like Fred VanVleet or someone who has a contract that can be voided before the season, so they don't.
So
own
why would the
anymore.
Rockets do that? Why would they take on Kristaps Porzingis, who has AIDS and couldn't play basketball?
They need better center play.
And he's
Yeah,
shooting.
Sengun sucks. Yeah,
He's like a 4.
He's like a Jokic.
Yeah,
mini
like he
Jokic.
could
I don't
benefit
see it,
from-
but you guys know more than me.
I think no, I'm being serious. I think he goes to Utah for John Collins and someone young. One of their people.
I don't. John Collins is
Isaiah
not good.
Collier.
Then
I-
maybe then get Walker Kessler. He's going
Yes.
to Utah. Ainge wanted him for years.
I like the Utah for Walker Kessler idea.
LA, I think Rui is a good get.
This is ridiculous. They're not trading Rui for Kristaps. Like Kristaps just showed
Chris-
Kristaps is a
needed-
20 and 10 guy. When he's
not
healthy.
in the playoffs.
And
He-
Luca played with him
Okay.
already.
They got the European ties.
Luka played with PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively. So they're gonna trade for all them too. I
I
think you
think
go
another.
go after Daniel Gafford. How about that?
I think that is something Gafford or PJ Washington or Derek Lively. I'd love any of the three, honestly.
I was on Celtics trade TikTok, and I had to get off once I saw a trade for Smart back. And if that happens, I'm like renouncing my fandom.
I think they really could go.
Thought you were a
Dallas
Smart
could
guy.
use Drew Holiday a
I hate
lot.
Smart. He's my least favorite player in the NBA,
I
besides
think
Curry
I think Dallas could
and
use
Draymond.
Drew
Actually,
Holiday.
Draymond, bottom three.
I think
Sorry.
I think Dallas could use a player like Drew Holiday in this year where Kyrie's not going to be there. It's a good vet to have for those players. And I think that the get back will probably be Gafford and I don't know who is off their bench, like fucking Dante X, some 2K legend, maybe.
All right, let's go through the lineup and see who's still here. So Tatum, he's injured. He's our superstar. He's still here. Jaylen Brown, will he be a Celtic next year?
I'd say like 90% yes.
I'd give it
say
like
yeah.
80%.
I think he only
but
goes for Giannis. I'm not gonna lie. You'd give it what?
80%. I think they still might trade him for Kevin Durant.
I don't think so.
I think they
alright.
love Durant. Okay. Porzingis.
No.
Out.
I think he's
like
the one that Brad gets rid of this summer.
I think
Drew.
he's like a virtual guarantee gone.
Drew, I'd say, is like 40% staying. Like leaning towards no, but also wouldn't be surprised if he did stay.
Derek
I
White.
think he's gone.
I
Derek
think
White's
he's
the only
gone.
one that has any trade value.
Yeah.
But you think he's gone?
He was so bad this series that his stats didn't show it. He got cooked by Brunson and McHale every single time in the fourth quarter. It was awful. They mismatched him every time and attacked him and scored every time in the paint.
Beautiful.
He was awful. On defense, at least. Offense, he was obviously good.
Okay, I thought Derek White would be one of the people we're trying to keep, but nonetheless.
I think they do keep him though, but
I think you would try and keep him. I don't think they would be thrilled about trading him, but if they're going
I think you're looking at like aren't these guys all getting paid 30 like Derek White, Porzingis?
Derek White's not 30. Derek White's 20. He's on a good
we should
contract.
Keep him then.
He'll stay. He just signed an extension last summer too, I think. So he's here for 3 more years.
All right, Horford,
Drew, right? Horford's retiring.
Yeah, that's the problem with Drew. Is he signed an extension for 30?
That's ridiculous.
Horford is, I don't know, because I feel like Tatum was low-key like one of the main reasons he didn't retire after the ring, because they thought they could win again. And now knowing you didn't get the ring this year, you're not going to get it next year without Tatum. I don't know. This was the first time I feel like he ever said, like, I'm going to have to sit and talk about retiring. So maybe there is actually some thought to it. I'd say he probably stays, though. But he was bad, really bad, these whole playoffs.
I'm all set. You can retire. Pritchard is staying.
Staying.
And then the last one would be Hauser. I guess he'd be gone.
I think him getting traded is $10 million, which with the taxes, that saves $80 million. So I think that's the easiest one. He's got value too, honestly. Off the bench, 3-point shooter.
Yeah. That was a very important injury for them this series.
I know, weirdly.
All right. Anything else on this Celtics Knicks before we move on?
No. I don't like it how I can hear it, and then I can hear it on your thing too, Colin.
Well, don't fucking move a chair super loudly.
It was fun. It's a fun series.
Parade.
It's a pleasure.
Banner.
Knicks haven't been to the Eastern Conference since 2000, before I was born. And the last 5 times they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals, they've played the Indiana Pacers.
Okay. Nice tidbit there. It'll lead us into our Eastern Conference Finals segment in a bit. As always, we're rejoined by the chat. First comment of the night goes to Sunrise in April. I believe he joined us last stream, or they joined us last stream, so I don't want to assume gender. I think they're a Warriors fan, so we're actually going to be talking about the Warriors right now. So the 6-seeded Timberwolves beat the Warriors in 5 games. No Curry. We knew that at the time of recording. Michael, you had the Timberwolves in this spot in the conference finals against the Thunder. You had your conference finals correct. Do you want to start us off on this series? Did you watch much of it? And what were your thoughts? I watched game 3, I believe. It was in Golden State. It was a pretty close game. Won a nice little parlay on that, but I don't think I really watched any of the other games.
Yeah. Like you said, we kind of figured that this would be it when Steph went down.
Probably the least intriguing of the series.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it was pretty interesting. They definitely kept games close. Like none of them were really blowouts. The Timberwolves couldn't really put them away. Obviously they won every game after stuff went down, but they were all close games. Playoff Julius still killing it. Warriors have an interesting offseason as well with all the like trade stuff with Draymond that's been floating around recently, how they've tried to trade him like every offseason for the past 3 years.
Kuminga sign and trade.
Kuminga getting buckets in the last 2 games or 3 games. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Timberwolves a lot. If they would be the team out of the West, I'd be happy. Like
Yeah,
I like
I'm
them a
sure
lot.
you would be. Draymond, I'm all
It
set.
would be a tough matchup for the Knicks, honestly.
The
But yeah,
Timberwolves.
it would be a lot of that would be a wild series after the trade this summer. But yeah,
I mean, isn't this back to back? No, is it back to back conference finals for the Timberwolves?
yep.
Okay. Face of the league, Anthony Edwards.
Nope. Jason Tatum.
Michael, unbiased take.
Neither of them. LeBron James. Nobody's taking it.
I agree. Next one though, after LeBron. If LeBron ever retires or no, he's not from the U.S. He doesn't count.
Doesn't count. It's got to be U.S. man. And it's not SGA either.
He's Canadian.
Canadian.
I know.
Jokic is Slovenian.
I guess it would have to be Ant. No, it's not. It's JB. Come on.
Jalen Brunson.
Like
Come
what?
on.
He doesn't have that much aura. Like he needs to aura farm a little bit. Ali, takeaways from the Timberwolves 5-game.
Didn't watch a single game of this, so
I feel like that's cap, but
I didn't. For real, this series was really boring, I thought. Actually, I do have a thought, but I'm going to keep it to myself because it's about Draymond, and I'm just going to keep it to myself.
yeah, you're not allowed. If you were going to call him an angry black man, you're not allowed to do that. So
It's not what I was going to say at all.
Okay.
Like, whatever.
That's what he said though. He's like, why does everyone try and paint me out to be an angry black man? And I saw a super funny post on X. They were like, who's this angry black man? Like after he said that. Yeah, I'm all set with Draymond. So I mean, the Timberwolves, we kind of all figured that they would win this series. We all love Ant. Well, at least I love Ant. Ali, I know you don't like him. Mike, you kind of like Ant. So we're excited for the Timberwolves mostly. The bigger question I think is, are the Warriors done? Because we all had them losing first round. They make it to the second round, but they go out with a whimper. Obviously, Curry got hurt. Do you think maybe if Curry was healthy, this would be a different series, or is this kind of the sunsetting of Curry and he's going to find his way out in the next couple of years? Draymond's on the move too. Like, I guess you still have Jimmy, so we didn't talk about Jimmy at all, but Jimmy and Curry heading into next year, is that something you're comfortable with in the West, or do you think this is kind of the swan song for Steph's winning trajectories for now? Ali, you're shaking your
This
head.
is it. I think this is it because unless they somehow pull off a Giannis trade, which I don't think they have the tools for, I just think the team is like way too young to be contending seriously. Like their key players, like Brandon Pajemski, who's just not there. So I don't know. They'll probably continue to like be a 6 to 8 seed, maybe I'd say. Like just when you have like a player like Curry, I feel like you're gonna be decently good. So I don't think that they're gonna be like contending though, really. I don't really care about what Draymond does. He probably stays, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think they'll be like a play-in
for Draymond.
Plus, didn't he get a bag like last offseason or 2 off seasons ago? He's getting paid like 28 or something. Okay. Moving on, we have the last West series. Before that, we have someone in the chat said this. They used a homophobic slur, so you're banned from the chat. Good job.
Nice job, Mike Tompkins. Proud of you.
I don't know why these people keep coming into our chat.
Later.
These people saying weird stuff. Thunder, Nuggets, Game 7. We're fresh off it 24 hours ago. It was over. Kind of a letdown of a Game 7. The NBA Game 7s have been super disappointing. I couldn't say the hockey thing this time around because the hockey Game 7 was also pretty disappointing. But what were your takeaways from this series, Thunder Nuggets? Ali, we can start with you. I feel like you're locked in with the Thunder. What do you have to say for this series?
I actually was kind of surprised with the Nuggets and how good they did in 1, 3, and 6 or whatever game. But I don't know. I think this was a way better series than I would have thought. I kind of felt like OKC kind of played into exactly what Denver wanted, and I think they low-key showed how to maybe slow down the OKC offense with a zone. So we'll see.
That's all.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't know. Definitely,
I didn't watch Game 7, so I don't know.
I watched the last
If-
like quarter and a half, but it was already over.
injuries are definitely tough this playoffs. Like Michael Porter situation was something. And then Aaron Gordon playing in that game was very impressive. With a grade 2 hammy
Yeah, they must have
strain.
shot him up with some crazy
Yeah,
shit.
he definitely couldn't feel anything.
Probably gave him the Ja Morant shots. The knee shots that he got before.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I think the Thunder kind of, I don't know if I would say they needed this because they've had some series that were hard fought. They obviously lost to the Mavs last year, but I think they needed to be tested, like obviously after sweeping Memphis. And honestly, I thought they played well. They never had a game except for I guess game 7 that all of their guys played super well or well at all. Like there was a couple of dud Jalen Williams or games. Chet was up and down. SGA had a tough game 1, I think, and then played super well after that. But I think they needed that to kind of find who they were in a playoff setting. And then for the Nuggets, like it was kind of just injuries for them. And you could
Jokic was
tell
bad.
I mean, it was 5-on-1, basically, though. Like if you're gonna pass out of the post to Julian Strother and like Christian Brown was good in this series and he shot the ball, I think, decently well, but he was the only one. Michael Porter was terrible after I think he went off in game 2 or something, maybe game 3. And Aaron Gordon in the end was hampered by injury. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Denver does this offseason. They kind of have to do something, I feel like. I don't know if they'll be like trading Michael Porter is probably going to bring you back nothing because he has a massive contract. And I think they want to keep together Jamal Murray and Jokic because their two-man game has been the best in the league for who knows how long. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what they can pull together with the money they can send out. And I don't really think they have a lot of their own picks left, but I could be wrong. They're also paying like Dario Saric a lot of money and Zeke
I think he was on
Naji.
like a 1 or 2 year though.
Yeah, their free agent signings have been bad for like 3 years in a row.
I remember I praised the Dario Saric signing on the offseason, and Ali was
Yeah,
pissed
and
at
it was
me.
also tough, like a underrated.
I
thing
called
was
that one.
Bayron Holmes, I think, was their draft pick. He tore his ACL in training camp. Like that would have been a big.
Well, they've clearly
He
I
was
think
good.
they clearly have hit on some draft picks in the past, like Jokic, obviously, Murray, Braun. Like they've all been solid. So I mean, Strother's okay. Payne Watson, decent role player. We'll see what happens. Westbrook is, I don't know what his deal is.
He's gonna accept that player option.
Oh, he has a player option.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was like I don't know. I like Russ. He made a lot of winning plays in this playoffs. Like the first round he had was very good, and he obviously didn't play as good in this series. But I don't know. I like Russ.
I agree. I turned this game 7 on yesterday. Jamal Murray was missing a lot of shots. Just feel like I want to put that out there because he gets praised for being a playoff hero, and he was breaking. Granted, they were down like 20 at that point. I don't know, but the Thunder, I feel like it's kind of just destined for them to lose at this point. But we'll dive right into that because we're getting to our conference finals now. Starting back with the East Coast, Michael, your 3-seeded Knicks faced the 4-seeded Pacers in a rematch from the second round last year. So Halliburton versus Brunson, it was written in the stars when they faced off at WWE. A little bit of a rivalry here. I know New York fans hate Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. I don't know if they feel the same way about you guys. So
they hate us too. Don't you worry.
What are your keys to this series here? Do you think this will be a rough ride, or do you think Knicks can kind of get this one over with and head to the NBA Finals?
What makes me mad is that Jalen and Tyrese are friends. Grinds my gears.
This should be the old NBA where they all hate each other.
Well, they played on whatever Team USA thing like 3 years ago. And
FIBA World Cup.
Friends. Yeah, something like that. This will definitely. I think this is gonna be a 7-game series. It's gonna be awesome. These teams, like, they're both very. I wouldn't say very different, but they're both different teams than they were last year. And like obviously we've said multiple times that the regular season doesn't matter, but the Knicks are 2-1 against them, and Cat played awesome in those games, and Jalen is guarded by Aaron Naismith, who is tasked as the Brunson stopper last year, and he did not do that at all. I think it'll be for the Pacers. It's going to be a lot of obviously movement and passing, and the Knicks haven't played a movement and passing offense this postseason. Like the Pistons were Cade get into the paint and kick out, and the Celtics were shoot pull-ups over you after maybe one pass. So it'll be a more stress on their like rotations and stuff for their defense, which is going to be interesting to see how much Cat can do in that situation, because he's probably going to be guarding, I would think, Miles Turner. So there's going to be a lot of pick and pop options for them. And also on the other end, there's going to be a lot of pick and pop options for Cat, because through the regular season, Miles Turner has guarded him every game. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a great series. I'm looking forward to it. There's probably going to be a fight or two, I would think. That's always good, though.
Yeah, we need some rivalries in the NBA. I was listening to some talk radio yesterday. They're saying Miles Turner is gonna be the key to the series.
He played awesome against the Cavs. Like, he was one of their best players.
He's the one who got away. He was supposed to be traded to the Lakers like 5 times.
I'm excited. He's a trade machine legend. He's been in the trade machine for like 7 years in a row.
I think he's a free agent after this season.
He's a Pacer.
He'll just get re-signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this series. Tyrese Halliburton. I'm rooting for the Pacers. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup where I feel like the Knicks try and slow you down, where the Pacers try and go fast. So maybe that'll be like a clash in games. Like, I also think both teams have shown the ability to win on the road in tough environments. So I think like this could be a series where home court doesn't matter as much as you think it would. Like, I could easily see the Pacers winning one of the first 2 games and the Knicks winning one of the games in Indiana. So I think it's going to be a nice ping pong series. I think this will be probably closer than the other series. We'll give our updated predictions after. I forgot to say, Eastern Conference, we're all out of points, and none of us got either of these teams. So that just goes to show you NBA playoff stuff. Ali, any thoughts on Knicks Pacers? Are you going to watch it, or are you rebelling against the NBA after the Celtics?
I'm going to watch for sure, but I don't know. I work now, 2 jobs.
Weird flex, but okay.
I'm moving the chair again. Sorry. No, I'll watch when I can. I think it's going to be a good series, and I wish Game 1 was tonight. I don't know why it's.
Yeah, why are they starting this
Wednesday
one after the West?
I don't know.
I
think it's because they already scheduled the West to just start today with Minnesota, since they technically clinched before either team.
I think they scheduled them all after Game 4s of the previous series. But yeah.
Okay, continue on with your thoughts.
I think, I don't really know who's going to guard Brunson. I was thinking today it's going to have to be Nemhard, I think, and then they'll just have to go. I think they would have to go Neesmith on Cat. No,
Well,
Mikey
that's
said
the
Neesmith
thing.
on Brunson.
It's
he
either
was
gonna
bad
be
last year though.
their issues are, well, it's OG on Pascal, probably Tyrese on McHale,
Yeah,
or
Josh
it's
Hart on.
either it's either it's either Tyrese on McHale or Tyrese on Josh Hart. And then Miles Turner. If they wanted, the Pacers have never put Miles Turner on anyone but a center. But if they were to this series, he would be on Josh Hart, and then Tyrese would be on McHale. So that's that, and then it's just
Yeah,
it's McHale and JB are gonna get Nemhard and Naismith, and neither of them can guard Jalen Brunson, which is a good thing for me. But it also might be not the best thing because Jalen will just be like, I'm going to beat you every single time, and then nobody else will touch the ball, which can be bad.
I was gonna
AKA
say, what if they just like
Jason
let
Tatum.
Jalen get his things, but like shut down everyone else?
That's exactly what the Knicks did against the Celtics, and it worked. I hope they don't do that. I hope, because I think this is going to be a big Cat series. Because I don't know, he's due. He hasn't had a chance to pick and pop yet this postseason because Pistons put Tobias Harris on him. Celtics just switch a lot, or had Al on him who can get out there. But Miles Turner's not getting out on the perimeter. They played deep drop. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think we'll learn a lot from game one, though.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we give our official predictions? All right, we'll start with you, Ali. What is your prediction for Knicks Pacers?
Pacers in 6, maybe 7.
All right.
Pacers for sure though.
You stole my pick. I had the Pacers in 6. Spite pick, fun pick. Don't have much logic behind it. I definitely think of the first 2 games in New York. I think the Pacers will pull up a surprise and win one. I also think the Knicks, I think it'll be 2-2 headed to game 5. And then the Pacers, I guess, with that scenario, will have to win game 5 and then just win game 6 at home. But Indiana has a very strong basketball fan base as well. So this is going to be a clash between 2 big fan bases. I'm going with my guy, my favorite player in the series, Tyrese Halliburton. I think Pacers in the finals would just be so funny. So I'm once again rooting for chaos and trolls now that my team is out. So Pacers in 6. Michael, will you be riding with the Pacers or going with the hometown
No.
Knicks?
I'm going against my bread and butter, aka picking against my teams. I think in our NFL pods, I picked against the Jets like every week. Or actually, I don't know. I don't really remember. And
It was
I
like
picked against
50-50.
I picked against the Knicks against the Celtics, and it worked.
Twice.
What?
Because we had the first podcast for the bracket, you picked the Celtics. Second one,
True.
you also
Yeah.
picked the Celtics.
But I'm gonna take Knicks in 7. They'll win at home in MSG Game 7, and there will be the National Guard in New York trying to control people again. And it'll
City
be great.
burned down potentially.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
You people don't understand what it's like.
Yeah, because we just win a sport every like 2 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Us poor people.
I've literally never seen a team go further than a conference final.
What about the Mets in '86?
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Well, you have the bad combo. You're not a Yankees fan, so if you're a Yankees fan or a Giants fan, you would know what that's like. Western Conference, Thunder, Timberwolves. So the one team that everyone kind of thought would still be here is the Thunder. A lot of people picked them to go to the finals, going chalk, Celtics, Thunder. They're still here. They had the best record in the NBA. They face off against the 6-seeded Timberwolves. No one really foresaw this one coming besides Mikey, but we're here. And Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, I'm sure they're not going to go out quietly. So, Ali, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on this series? What are you looking at here? Snapchat friends with Chet Holmgren. Is there any inside information you can provide us, or
He's been off the grid, focused, locked in,
zero dark 30?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think this is going to be a really interesting series, honestly, and I think these teams kind of match up. I feel like they're kind of built the same, where all their bigs can kind of shoot. Maybe not Rudy, maybe not iHeart, but they kind of play space out, go for offensive boards a lot. I don't know. I think I'm kind of wondering who guards Shea. I don't know if they really have a good matchup for him, so that'll be interesting. Also, don't really know who guards
Dante.
Edwards. He's off the bench though.
Yeah.
Isn't Jalen Williams like a defensive guru?
Yeah, but I think you would rather have him on Julius Randle.
I could
'cause
see
he's
it.
better
I could see
size.
Ant scoring like 40 a game.
I agree, and that's it. That's all that they get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
So
this
they-
will be good. I'm excited for it. Honestly, I kind of feel like this really could go either way. Like I could really see it going either way. I don't really know who to pick, honestly. So
I
both have
think.
pretty decent home courts too, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I'd lean Thunder based off talent and depth, but they have the kind of lack of experience. Even like some of the guys they've signed, like it's not like Mike Conley's. I mean, Mike Conley's been to the conference semifinals, I guess, a couple times with the Grizzlies, but like they don't really have people who have been far in the playoffs either. So I don't know. It's going to be a close matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing Ant just seek and destroy. Besides that, the Thunder, I feel like they don't really have a lot of aura. I know Shea is the number one aura in the league, but I feel like I don't when I think about the Thunder,
it's
I don't.
fake.
Yeah,
It's
it's all
fake aura.
Instagram. These people are I think they're more.
Why are you talking about aura? What does that have to do with anything?
Because it's the NBA. That's all we talk about is aura farming and aura, and that's what the league's known for. There's with Shea, there's so much aura talk.
You just
Okay.
stuttered, yeah.
Are people not allowed to have stutter? That's a condition. Okay. I think when I think of the Thunder, I literally don't I don't feel anything either way. Like the Timberwolves, I'm like, hell yeah, Anthony Edwards, basketball, rough, Rudy Gobert, even Julius Randle, I kind of like nowadays. Julius Randle got a lot of hate
he's
from
been
Knicks
really
fans,
good.
and now he's really good. He's in the that's a good story. I think the Timberwolves have the better story. For my narratives, though, I kind of need the Thunder to win just in case the Knicks come out of the East, so they can, I don't know though. The Knicks being, we'll talk about the finals in a second, but the Knicks being 0-4 against the Celtics and 0-4 against the Thunder, and then just winning the finals would probably ruin my life. Nonetheless, though, I think this is gonna be a really close matchup. I can see the Timberwolves taking a couple of games. We'll get to my prediction in a second, but I think this is gonna come down to the wire. I think we get at least 6 games in both series. So I'll leave it at that. Michael, your analysis for this series.
I love it. I think it's gonna be awesome. There's definitely gonna be fights in this series. I think iHeart's gonna play a huge role. Because he doesn't have a shot really, but he has his floater from all the way out to almost the free throw line. And that's gonna pull Rudy away from the paint, or in the paint, but away from the rim, which is gonna be big. And also, Anthony Edwards is going to try and dunk on him, and he's going to go up for the block every single time because he doesn't care if he gets the end on. He's just trying to block everything, which is awesome, and I love it. So there's going to be some good posters in this series, definitely. I don't know. I like the T-Wolves. I've sang the praise of the Thunder a lot, though, with their defense, and the Timberwolves are a high turnover team because they don't really have they're a lot of times high turnover teams equate to your best players, not your point guard, and their best players, not their point guard. And Julius both have decently high turnover rates, so it's definitely going to be a factor. Thunder out in transition off those turnovers. Yeah, it's definitely not the best matchup for the T-Wolves. I think the fact that the Thunder have the best defense.
They played him well in the regular season.
Yeah, but regular season.
Well, what does that matter? Yeah, true.
I'm glad too, diehard NBA fans are seeing the point I made. Anyways,
it's not the point you made. The point you made was don't watch because it doesn't matter. You still watch.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You still lock in.
I prefer not to watch things that are a waste of time, but if you like to do that, I'm not going to judge because there's certainly things I watch that are a waste of time, just not NBA regular season basketball. Continue.
Yeah.
Where were
Prediction?
you going with that? Like what?
I'm just saying. I'm being empathetic. I watch things that are a waste of time as well, and I'm not going anywhere. Let Michael finish his analysis.
Anyways.
Bros.
I agree.
Anyways, yeah, I love this series also because Julius is a dog.
I was
Love
gonna
him
ask you.
always. I'll always be a Julius supporter. And Dante. Dante was a grit
Yo,
and
no
grind of
leaks.
the
What do you
Knicks
mean?
last year. That
I was
bug
gonna say,
fly?
who do you have more affinity for, iHeart or Julius Randle and Dante? I feel like that's like a slanted question though.
Julius, because he came to the Knicks in 2019 when Katie and Kyrie went to Brooklyn and got the 4 seed for the Knicks in like one of the most improbable seasons ever. Um, and then lost to Trae Young, but that doesn't matter.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, Trae Young saying some BS about Oklahoma City fans being louder than MSG when he's not even in the playoffs is crazy.
He's in Cabo. Don't you already have to
Yeah.
deal with the Halliburton nonsense? Don't be worrying about Trae Young.
I'm definitely not worrying about Trae Young. Yeah, prediction. I'm taking Thunder in 6 games, like I did for
Originally.
original thing.
So I have the same thing. Both my picks were stolen before I went, but I have the Thunder in 6 games. I don't think we get a game 7 in the semifinals. I could see this even being 5, but I'm just depending on like an Ant Edwards kind of showcase in 2 of the games. Also home court. Maybe they win both those games. Maybe it's 2-2. Then the Thunder just eviscerate them from there. What do you say, Ali? What's your prediction?
I am gonna do it. I'm gonna say Thunder in 5 because I think, kind of as we saw in the college football playoffs, like having rust and having extra rest builds rust. Did I say that right? Having extra
Yes.
rest builds rust. So I feel like the Thunder are playing literally 2 days after their game 7. I feel like they'll be with it. Timberwolves might just blow game 1 because they need to get back up to speed, and then you get like a good Thunder game 2. Maybe Timberwolves take game 3. I just think they're gonna lose probably game 1 and 2, honestly. So, and then
Game
after that,
2
it's
is going to
just
be a
kind of
really good
wrap.
game. I
I
can
Okay.
see
think
it
it
now.
all depends on how Julius plays, honestly, for the Timberwolves. If he like shits the bed, then it's done. Like he's
Yeah.
probably their most important player in the series because he's never dealt with like small, like Alex Caruso or Jalen Williams type players. He's like always been bad at that. So we'll see.
Yeah, Caruso has been a beast. Big
Yeah.
trade they made in the offseason. All
2
right,
big
so
trades or signings.
we have before we get to our bracket update, which is our last segment, updated finals prediction. So, there's only one round left, so might as well speculate on what we see happening. So we'll start with you, Mikey. You're the one who picked the Knicks. So you have Knicks versus Thunder. We all have the Thunder, but can the Knicks win their first championship in 50-something
Oh, you're
years?
asking me to predict this right now?
Just quick. I mean, it doesn't have to be like in depth, but if we're doing hypotheticals, it's the NBA. That's what we love to do.
I had Thunder always and forever, so I'm gonna stick with the Thunder. But I would absolutely love to be wrong.
Over your hometown Knicks.
Yeah.
And how many games? You think the Knicks can grab 2 off them, 3 off them?
I'll say 5 because I don't want them to lose at home, and also not 7 because that would be heart-wrenching.
Thunder winning Game 6 in New York to clinch. That'd just be like, I don't know. That
That
just
would
is
be
funny
so
to
bad.
imagine. So I have Thunder Pacers. I'm going with the Thunder in maybe 5. I'm gonna say 5 games over the Pacers. I just think the Thunder are the best team. I think the Western Conference is a little bit more superior to the Eastern Conference, especially due to certain results. I mean, the Knicks were the better team over the Celtics, but I think the Celtics would match up better with the Thunder. I just think the Knicks might be like a team that runs out of gas if they get there, and then the same thing with the Pacers. I'm not sure if the Pacers versus the Thunder is like a depth versus depth matchup, but if we're going guy for guy, I'm taking like most of the people on the Thunder over most of the people on the Pacers. So I got the Thunder in 5 over the Pacers. Ali.
Same thing, Thunder in 5. I thought you were gonna say 6. Yeah, I got 5. I think they do the same thing that Boston did, where they win the first 3 and then lose 4 and then win at home.
Gentlemen sweep.
Gentleman sweep. Yep.
All right.
I think whoever matches up against the Thunder is a really bad matchup for the other team. I think the Thunder have a lot of people that they can throw at all the opposing teams on the East, whereas Jokic was kind of the only one that was a wild card for them.
Okay. So it's time to update the brackets. 2 people anxiously awaiting to see what happens. Starting it off in 3rd place is myself, just like the NFL bracket. I came in last. My points are done. I'm out, so I have 11 points. In 2nd place, we have Mikey with 12, so 1 more point. And in 1st place is Ali. You're rejoicing now, but if the Thunder win this series, Michael wins the bracket.
No!
And he doesn't need any games, just the Thunder to win the series.
All right.
And
I'm a
Michael's the
Timberwolves fan. I'm here. Let's go, Minnesota.
So Ali 13, Mikey 12, myself 11. Me and Ali are out of points. Michael still has potential, like 8 or 9 points on the board with the Thunder if he gets the amount of games right. So that's where we leave off with the bracket. Any final thoughts before we depart tonight? Kind of a quiet stream from the crowd. It's all right though. We had a very big crowd for. I think, I'll say I'll be like one of those guys after March Madness when Duke goes out. There's no interest anymore now that all the good teams are out. The Celtics are out. No one cares anymore. Because
I agree.
New York's not one of the biggest fan bases in the world, but
yeah. This has been a great playoffs, I'd say, so far. A lot of good games.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
I don't know. It might go downhill out after round 2. Round 2 was awesome.
It was all right.
I had fun.
If we had
a good time.
If we had a Celtics Knicks game 7 and the Knicks still won, like I feel like that'd be even more epic.
That would be so bad.
If we got a couple more games out of if like Curry didn't get hurt, that probably goes like 6 or 7, and then.
But those games were still good. Like Curry was out, but like they were still close games. They had leads in the second half and a couple of them.
I guess that's true. I don't know. It just never felt like they had a chance, though.
Yeah.
So it's been a decent playoffs. I feel like the blowout thing is still a problem. I don't know how you fix that, but it just seems like there's going to be playoff blowouts. It just happens when you play a team a certain amount of times. But
you gotta not play. You need more than one day off in between games.
Well, I think the finals you get like 3 days off, right, in between each game.
I know. In the second round,
one game,
in the third round, it's every other day.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's dumb.
I don't know why they're rushing. Like, I don't know why they're rushing it this much, because you have like, I guess June, it's like summer, no one really wants to be watching, but it's like at nighttime, so you might as well give them a couple extra days. And like now we should be getting games every 3 days or something. But I don't know.
Like we don't need a week long of play-in tournament. Let's just
that'd be nice.
A couple extra days off. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
Bring it up with Adam. I'm sure he'd love to hear that, and then just tell you, like, flip you off to your face. All right.
Yeah, he would.
Ali, any final thoughts before we depart? We got the stream in before the cruise. We probably will be back in time for the finals, unless it's like 2 sweeps. But they didn't move it up last year, right, when the Celtics swept the Pacers. So I think the dates are set. We probably will be able to have another live stream. Our guest wasn't able to join us tonight. Maybe he'll be back for this finals preview, because we're going to need a lot to talk about, because we're only breaking down 3 series in that video, our stream. But maybe some news will happen in the meantime. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you both for joining me. We'll be back one more stream before the end of the NBA season. Then we'll return with the potentially off-season podcast again. So as always, guys, be easy.